The first time Alara stepped off the shuttle and onto the pale blue sands of Erosia, she felt the way all outcasts feel upon entering a world not made for them, seen, but not welcomed. The air shimmered with the twin suns above, casting long, wavering shadows of the waiting crowd. Her people, the Zyrene, were a species known across the quadrant for their ethereal beauty. Opalescent skin, silver-white hair, and eyes like liquid crystal. Alara once had all those qualities. Before the war, before the explosion that tore half her face now. Jagged silver scars ran from her left eye down to her jaw, twisting the formerly smooth skin into a reminder of everything she had lost. Some said she should have covered it with synthetic dermal patches. Technology existed for that. But Alara refused. The scars were part of her story. She would not erase the truth of it. The erosions whispered anyway. Such a shame, she ruined. Who will claim her? The words seeped into her like cold water. She lifted her chin higher. She was here for duty, not approval. The accord between the Zyrene and Erosia required each species to offer representatives for the new Interplanetary Council. Strong alliances were built on trust, and trust on diplomacy. Alara had trained years for this. Still, the staring stung. Her escort, a stiff-postured Erosian steward, cleared his throat. You will be assigned temporary quarters while the council reviews confirm your placement. Until then, avoid wandering. Some citizens are sensitive to outsiders. I understand, Alara replied quietly, but the steward kept glancing at her scars, trying and failing to hide his discomfort. It was nothing new. Even among her own kind, she had been treated differently since the incident. A Zyrene healer once told her, "Beauty is a cultural weapon. Lose it, and you lose your standing." Alara hated how true it felt. She followed the steward through the crystalline city of Halcira. Erosia's capital was breathtaking towers sculpted from clear quartz, hovering walkways lined with luminous flora, and rivers flowing with bioluminescent blue water. Everything sparkled, as if the entire city existed inside a gemstone. Alara tried to find wonder in it, but she could feel eyes follow her like laser beams. Her quarters were a modest suite overlooking the lower gardens. She was unpacking when a soft chime sounded at the door. Alara hesitated. No one should have been visiting her. When she opened it, she froze. He stood there, tall, impossibly poised, with hair the color of burnished gold and eyes as bright as celestial fire. His features were symmetrical in that impossible, almost mythic Erosian wage-code bones sharp enough to carve stone. Skin faintly radiant under the sun's dot, Kiran Velos, the most admired man on Erosia. A celebrated diplomat, warrior, and son of the High Chancellor. Even Alara, from a distant star, knew of him. Erosians whispered his name like a prophecy. She realized she was staring and quickly composed herself. "Counselor Velos." "I wasn't expecting, please," he interrupted in a warm tone. "Call me Kiran." "May I come in?" Alara stepped aside, trying not to read too much into the situation. Perhaps he was required to welcome new delegates. Perhaps this was simply protocol. But Kiran didn't greet all diplomats personally. She shut the door softly. "To what do I owe your visit?" He studied her face, not avoiding the scars like others did, nor gawking at them. Simply seeing her. "I wanted to meet you," he said plainly. Alara blinked. "Me." "There were 23 Zyrene candidates for the council," he replied. "You were the one your leaders chose." "I was curious why." Alara folded her hands. "Because I excel at diplomacy and mediation, and despite my appearance, my people trust my judgment." "I see," Kiran murmured. "But your appearance is hardly what defines you." Alara laughed softly. "You are the first to say so, and then your world is overlooking something obvious." His voice was so gentle that her breath stuttered. Before she could respond, he straightened. "The council gathers tomorrow. I would be honored to escort you." Her eyes widened. "Me? No, surely someone else. I choose you," he said simply. Those 3 words echoed in her chest long after he left. The next morning, Kiran met her at sunrise. Erosian attire had been prepared for her, a flowing indigo. garment threaded with shimmering strands that caught the light in slow ripples. She still felt exposed, but his presence at her side eased the tension gripping her spine. As they entered the grand hall, every head turned. Whispers began instantly. Why is he with her? She is disfigured. He could choose anyone. Why her? Alara's stomach tightened, but Kieran walked proudly at her side, head high, unbothered. And because he carried himself with such certainty, the crowd parted before them. The meeting proceeded. But her thoughts drifted back to the day of the explosion that scarred her. The fear she had faced returning to society. The feeling that she was always being measured and found lacking. When the session adjourned, she stepped onto a balcony overlooking the city, needing air to her surprise. Kieran followed. You did well, he said. I barely spoke. Sometimes restraint is the wisest voice. She turned to him. Why do you continue to accompany me? You know how they talk. Kieran leaned against the railing, eyes on the horizon. The opinions of the small-minded do not sway me. But why take the risk? She whispered. Finally, he looked at Horelli. Looked. Because I saw you before you ever arrived here. I saw your record. Your decisions during the Zyrene-Arkan conflict. Your courage in shielding civilians during the station explosion. Lara inhaled sharply. Few knew her exact role that day. You read my confidential file? She murmured. Yes, he said simply. And when I saw your scars, I didn't see damage. I saw survival. Her throat tightened. No one had ever said such a thing, he continued, voice low. Your people sent you here because you are exceptional. I choose to stand with you because I see what they see. The suns dipped below the horizon, bathing them in twilight gold. Alara turned away, overwhelmed. She was strong, but this kindness threatened to unravel her. You must not attach yourself to me, she said quietly. It will damage your reputation. And what use do I have for reputation, he murmured, if it prevents me from choosing what matters? Her heartbeat stumbled. Kieran. I am not asking for anything, he said quickly, noticing her tension. I only ask that you allow yourself to be seen as you truly are. His sincerity wrapped around her like warmth. For a long moment, she found herself unable to speak. Days passed, then weeks. Kieran continued appearing at her side during council sessions, during diplomatic lunches, during quiet walks through the gardens, after dusk. His presence slowly shifted the way people looked at her, not all, but many. Where there was once ridicule, now there was curiosity, even respect. Erosion's admired strength. And Kieran's unwavering support signaled that Alara was someone worth noticing. Still, others were less welcoming. One evening, as Alara left the council chambers alone, a group of Erosion delegates blocked her path. You do not belong here, one sneered. Your face is an insult to our traditions of beauty. Lara stiffened. Stand aside. Another stepped closer. Kieran Velos may be too blinded by his ridiculous compassion to see what you are, but we are not fooled. And what do you think I am? She asked steadily. A broken thing. The words sliced through her, but before she could respond, a new voice cut through the hallway like a blade. That is enough. Kieran strode forward, expression cold as frost. The delegates immediately stepped back. Counselor Velos, you meant no disrespect. You meant precisely disrespect, he said, eyes burning. And now each of you will file a formal apology and remove yourself from this rotation. Effective immediately. The delegates paled. They knew he had the authority to enforce such consequences. They fled. Kieran turned to Alara, jaw tight. I am sorry you had to endure that. You defended me, she whispered. Of course I did. She stared at him, beautiful, principled. Powerful, and something fragile cracked open inside her. Why me, Kieran? She asked softly. You could stand beside anyone. Someone whole. He reached out, hesitated, then gently touched the side of her face. Not the unscarred side, but the scarred one. You think this diminishes you, he murmured, but I see the truth of it. Alara trembled. What truth? That these marks are proof of what you survived. They tell me you are courageous. They tell me you value life so deeply you would risk your own. They tell me you endured something meant to break you and you did not break. A breath shuddered out of her, and he added quietly, they tell me that your beauty is deeper than surface perfection. It is carved from resilience. Her eyes burned with unexpected tears. No one had ever spoken to her this way, not even before the scars. Kieran, I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. He let his hand fall, though reluctantly. Just don't hide from me, she swallowed. I won't. Time continued its steady march. Their bond deepened not through grand gestures, but through quiet moments. Shared meals. Debates over policy. Walks under Erosia's twin moons. Slowly, Ilara realized something profound. For the first time since the explosion, she no longer felt defined by her scars. One night, as they stood atop Halcira's highest spire, the city glowing beneath them, Kieran spoke softly. Ilara, would you allow me to choose you? Her heart clenched. For what? For everything. The wind rustled her hair. She looked at him, truly looked tanned, saw not only beauty but unwavering sincerity. A man who had chosen her long before she